Hi, I'm Bela Watson, and I am a dancer and teacher. Mostly, I consider myself an artist. I nickname myself a heartist, capital ART. Dance just happens to be the one that I do the most right now. I've sold over 100 paintings worldwide. I am in a band. I write my own music. I play guitar. I am a costume designer for the dance and theater department at St. Mary's College. I teach at St. Mary's College. I teach at Joy Emotion Dance Center. I teach at a couple senior centers. And my life is one work of art.
A Jane of all trades, even more things than I
Yeah.
realized. So one of the things I've come to meet you through your work at Joy in Motion, and you teach students of all ages, including adults. And sometimes I think that as people age, as we all do when we're kids, we fall off a bike, we get back up, we try again, and that's a lot easier for us. And then as parents, I'm a parent, sometimes we're telling our kids, try new things, and we're not doing it. And so I'd love to hear your take on adult classes and why it's important for adults to participate and what you offer them, what you've seen. So we'll start talking about that, but take that question where you'd like to.
I want to say that it has always been a pleasure to teach children because they are like little sponges that are still in that state of innocence where they look to you for answers. But I feel like as adults, we've had so many cycles of learning ourselves that we forget to come back to beginner mind. And like you're saying, so frequently, that means that we kind of stop trying new things. And so my experience with Joy Emotion and teaching the adults there is that it's been such an incredible honor to be a teacher of adults who have seen performances and then choose to come and make themselves the beginner again. Because they're not exactly sure, I don't think, what it is that they're wanting or hoping for, but they know that it looks fun and they can see how much pleasure it's bringing us. And so that is an invitation that is just golden by itself. And then they come to class. And sometimes I would say the majority of cases for my classes, because I'm teaching jazz and ballet and tap, intermediate advanced tap for adults, most of these adults danced when they were young. And so it's been 20 to 25 years until they've tried it again and they come back. And it's such a incredible honor to be in the place of their teacher, to watch them fall in love with movement and the art form and themselves all over again and reclaim this identity as a flexible and strong being. And how they express that is differently depending on the subject that we're studying. So in ballet, that has a very different energetic feeling as jazz. And so in ballet, I feel that we're all coming to this very kind of like an upright yoga, finding this core alignment. And I'm teaching from a somatic point of view because my master's degree was from St. Mary's College, and our greatest focus is somatic movement therapy. And so I feel so privileged to be able to offer ballet class from this really healthy perspective that most of us as children did not get. It was a very different mindset when we were young. And so there's been a hesitation, I think, because of that for so many adults to even return to dancing, because maybe they have injuries from even what they did when they were young because they were forced or pushed in these ways that are wholly unnatural for the body. But the way that I get to offer class to them is in this very gentle, therapeutic way with a lot of understanding anatomically, and then when we go to jazz, it's a lot spicier and saucier and sassier. And so there's this aspect of their personality that they get to pick up where they're tapping into their own personal power again. And I feel like the comments that I've heard there is that it's even helped their, their partnerships and their romantic engagement, because they're claiming this sense of ability and strength and um, um, flavor and zest and aliveness that before, when it was just focused on all of their kids, it wasn't really present in their life. And so I can't tell you how many times I've had adults break down in my class just feeling so incredibly grateful and expressing that so authentically and emotionally to what this has brought back into their life. And I know I'm not speaking for myself, but for all of the teachers at Joy Motion who teach the adults, there is just such a excitement for us to be teaching the adults because of this reclaimed power in their own life. From, Justin Cole teaches the hip hop classes, and Justin Madfis teaches cardio jam, which was probably the one thing that kept us functioning wholly during the pandemic, because those classes could be done outside. And so the whole back parking lot was just full of adults ready to move. And then we also have, Pilates, and I teach yoga there as well. So it's really a holistic mind body offering that we have there for adults. And each of us is so excited about the adult program.
That's awesome. So in May 2024, I had a chance to see you perform many pieces, and you were on stage doing a piece. It looked like a combination of ballet and contemporary. I forgot what the song is called, but that piece brought many people to tears, including me. Could you tell me a little bit about it? Like what was the song that you were performing, and what was it representing to you and the dancers on stage?
Cool question. So the song was called Runaway by Aurora. And I intentionally chose to make it a contemporary ballet piece because it is my greatest desire to add adult contemporary back to our schedule next year. And so I wanted to give a combination of both so that everybody could kind of see what it is that we could potentially offer. But the song itself has many words that really connect to my personal story. So in the beginning, she's talking about she has a vision when she was a child, that she sees this. I don't remember the exact words exactly. She sees a vision of death that's calling for her impatiently. And so when I was young, I didn't realize, but for 13 years, I was struggling with what we were just calling an unknown injury, because I'd seen 26 different doctors and no one could give me a diagnosis. And then when I was 26 years old, running a professional dance company, finally I got my diagnosis, and it was a very rare type of cancer in my ankle. And by the time they had found it, it spread throughout my body. And so there was, in the first verse, there's just like a reflection back to that, which has really led my journey. It was all of my dance skills that gave me the life skills to get through that really difficult time. And it is my dance skills that continue to rehabilitate me through mind, body, and spirit to continue to move that way. And then, she's speaking about wanting to go home and not really knowing where home is. And I feel like maybe all of us can resonate with that to some degree, because maybe home is a set of dreams plus memories of when we were young, in addition to the feeling of what it felt like to be protected and sheltered. Even if it was unhealthy at the time, we didn't know better. And so there was this feeling of protection and others taking care of everything for us. But as adults, now we're the ones in charge. And maybe we're wanting to go back to that place we can never return to, that is from that innocence, of feeling like we're just children in this garden of protection. And I don't know that any of us can ever get back there, but I do think that it is the goal, whether it is through spiritual means or through making our homes and our gardens, more cozy, or productive. But it's just that feeling of coming home to oneself. And that really spoke to me. And I feel like it spoke to the other people who were in the ballet dance, because coming home meant for all of us returning to that dance within us. And for me, that's the closest thing to home that I resonate with. When I'm not teaching one of my 38 hours a week of dance, I go to dance in my free time. And that's all improvisation and contact improvisation and ecstatic dance. And that's the time that I feel the most home, when I am really intimately with myself in the expressivity of what is going on in the inside of me. And if I could redefine the art of dance, it would be something along those lines, you know, the expression of what is deeply within and revealing that to the outer world, regardless of whether or not anyone is watching. There is a exhilaration and a learning process that is revealed in that, even to ourselves, as we put ourselves through that journey. And for me, that feels like home or heaven on earth. And so the song was, you know, it just came up naturally, and all of my choreography comes about differently, but that one was almost like I exhaled and it just came to be. And was very holistic in that way. And it's such a pleasure when it comes out that easily and effortlessly.
That's beautiful. What kind of feedback did you hear from the dancers who participated in the song? What did it mean for them?
You know, I think the word that most of them used the whole time was just how beautiful they felt, and how beautiful the song was, and how beautiful the choreography was. And I just can't really imagine anything better to share, is this celebration of beauty and what that means to us individually and collectively. And I feel like that was what I heard the most from those who were participating in it, and also for those who were observing it. And like you said, a lot of people said it brought tears to their eyes. And I think that that's such an honor to hold that position, to move an audience. And for myself, I've always surrendered what the meaning of it might be for an audience. When I walk into a work, I have an intention, but by the time I come to stage, I I really have always prayed that God or the universe or that bigger force take over my body. Like, my work as the dancer is gone at that point. And so now it's for the audience. And maybe I wish for my personality and my own story to back away, so that the audience might envision or feel themselves as me in the dance, so that they too can be moving in this way. Because somatically, there's really no separation. If you go there in your mind, then you've been there in your body. And so it's kind of like offering my body to anyone who's observing, to be moved by that experience the same way we are.
It's beautiful. It's like you've done the prep work, you've done the semantics, you've honed your craft as a dancer. Sometimes something I battle with my own children sometimes is like, oh, I want to be a singer, I want to be a dancer, but sometimes they think you're just going to do that one day. So you've done a lot of hard work to get where you are, right?
Oh, yes. And my favorite quote from my favorite choreographer, his name is Garth Fagan, and he choreographed The Lion King on Broadway. And he came and worked with me at Florida State University in my undergraduate degree program. And one day we got stuck on an elevator together, and I took that opportunity to ask him, what should I know as a young dancer in my life moving forward? Like, what advice could you give? And he said, discipline is freedom, my dear. And I really held on to that my whole life, and still do, is that the more different disciplines I implement myself into, like all the different arts that I've immersed myself in, as well as the discipline of each category, what I'm doing inside of that, or the discipline of how I eat right and get my exercise and drink plenty of water and tend to my relationships, that healthy way of discipline has allowed me to transcend every adversity that has come into my life. So yeah, I give great credit to Garth Fagan and the impact that that single person of the thousands that I've had in my life really shaped my experience and the perspective that I hold and the values that I hold in this process.
And how do you pay that virtue forward to the dancers that you work with, ranging from children to adults?
Oh,
Because you do, you can see it, like the songs that you've choreographed, like everybody's talented, but I think there's something special that shows up, I think, in the students that you've worked with.
I think that the closest simple answer I could come to that is that I treat every student as an individual and meet them where they are. And based on the collective consciousness of each group of dancers, it's kind of a puzzle and finding the unique piece of music and flavor that will cater to each of them to allow them to experience the collective experience as well as really nurture their own self and their own strengths. Meanwhile, pushing them a little bit, but every day is different. And I mean, inside of my body, I experience every day is different in what my abilities are based on what stressors I have, based on if I'm sore or I have an injury. And every one of us is different based on the way that we think and the way that we learn. And so, I really love teaching. And so I've dedicated so much of my time to figuring out the many inroads into the internal atmosphere of my students. And that is really why I love teaching so much, because just get such a pleasure out of discovering who they really are and observing how every effort I put into figuring them out and figuring out how to give them the next piece of choreography in the most effective and efficient and safe way will allow them to express themselves even deeper or even more. And when that works out and it pays off and you see them light up from the inside, there's just no greater thrill than that. For me, that is, I don't like to use the word drug because we're talking about kids, but it feels like the greatest thrill and elation possible. I feel like I found a secret to the universe, and that really is being a person that allows enough consistency for others to come into, for them to rediscover themselves and to witness that experience happening is the greatest gift, whether they perform or not. However, seeing them on stage and being on the sidelines and watching them light up with their own power and their own sense of ability and their own excitement is just, it is thrilling. It is really, truly thrilling.
I love
Children
that.
and
And the
adults
age
alike.
ranges that you work with, your youngest dancer that you teach is how old, and your oldest dancer is ballpark how old?
Right now, my youngest dancer is 8. I used to say 3 to 103, but I'm no longer working with the little ones at Joy Emotion, and I've started moving more toward adults, from college students to the adult program and now into the senior centers where I'm teaching seated. I just got done from one of those this morning, a seated dance and yoga class here locally in Moraga. And, uh, I don't know the oldest, but 103 is kind of the joke. And equally, those elders, it's so rewarding because some of them are not speaking on a daily basis. But when I come in, their eyes light up and I'm playing the music from their generation and they'll just start singing while we're dancing together. And so again, just observing that aliveness within them, animate them in this really vital way is just such a reward. Doesn't matter the age
That's
or the
awesome.
ability.
Awesome. And on stage, when there was your adult group, there were really, it seemed to me that there were people of all ages and stages of life and all body sizes. Why is that important?
Oh, because dance is for everyone. And, in the United States, we really have done a disservice to dancing because in tribal communities, dance is the first language. It is the way that we communicate from this deeper level where the articulations and semantics of words and their meaning really narrow and confine and define things in this way that is the opposite of liberation. But dancing is this way that initially we have used as a communication system that transcends words. But in the United States, we've sequestered dancing to be this high art. And so unless you are seriously studied in ballet and contemporary, then it kind of means that you're just weird if you move your body. And so kind of my ambition is to make dancing for everybody again. Is like, it doesn't matter where you are, what you're able to do with your body. If you're feeling something and you're expressing that through movement, then you're a dancer. And little children who don't know yet about the societal norms about dancing, every child dances. They hear music and they dance. Some animals do this. And so it is my ambition, with all of the accolades and all of the degrees, to recenter dance into a community affair and make it again for everybody. And that's not to say that we shouldn't have the high arts of focus. Those who feel so called to make that their life work, wonderful. And everybody is a dancer. And so it's really to strip off all of those labels about what we're supposed to be in order to be a dancer, because it's for everybody.
And that's very much in alignment with the perspective and philosophy of joy in motion. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that and like the overall philosophy there?
Well, I mean, it's in our name, joy in motion. That is our practice of pleasure, the practice of pleasure. My good friend Shira, in an East Bay dancer and teacher, she says, pleasure is an art. Feeling good is an art. And that's really what our motto at Joy Emotion comes down to, is that we're doing this to feel good. And everyone who walks through the door experiences that. And it doesn't matter their age, and it doesn't matter the class or the style. They're finding what matches their tendencies or their vibration or their personal likeness and uniqueness, and finding pleasure there. And I think the hashtag is dances for everyone. And so absolutely, it goes with our mission that you don't need to have training in order to dance. You just need to show up and be with yourself and others as we move. It's as simple as that.
I love that. And in our last few minutes, I want to bring a little bit of your story in. One of my favorite quotes is the quote, life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. And from what you've shared and what you've alluded to, even in this interview, you've had to dance in a lot of rain. Do you want to talk a little bit about your journey that kind of got you to this place, and the most important lesson you learned on that journey? Just because you're very good at telling your story.
Thank you. I'm surprised again that I'm teary over this question, because it's been a long time that I've been answering it, but I think maybe I'm so touched just for your remembering of that, and to ask about that deeper experience that I've had. I'll just feel into what is important to share about it now, because it is a long one.
Yes, thank you. I guess we are making each other cry at different times. Sorry about that.
Oh, Yeah. Well, I will start by saying that we dance for joy at Joy Emotion because that is something that is really inherently needed on the planet right now, but always. And that the greater the shadow that one has faced, or the greater the darkness, or the greater the tribulations and trials that one has faced, the greater the amount of joy that one can experience on the other side of it. And so I think I'm teary right now, not because of the sadness, but because of what a bonus all of this experience is for me. I did not expect to live through my experience of cancer and massive, massive doses of chemotherapy. In fact, I checked out a few times in that process. And so all of this just feels like bonus for me. And it is those storms and the rain, quite literally, that has given me such a profound, deep appreciation for the meaningfulness of our connectivity and the meaningfulness of the way that we dance in and out of our each other's lives, and the way that we impact one another as one ecosystem. And my experience was to return to nature in order to heal myself. And so often when I think about people and groups and community, I'm very much including the atmospheric realm of nature into that whole understanding of who it is that we are and what it is that we're doing here, and the precious gift of life, just the absolute miracle that we're here to even be having this experience. And maybe that experience allowed me to drop my ego enough to truly connect with others and all other living things, to feel part of a greater whole that is in the dance of aliveness. Yeah, it's a profound experience.
That's beautiful. And my other, of course, mantra that I love, or that I say all the time, is without a struggle, there's not a story. And so it kind of really jives with that. Before I let you go today, I wonder if you'd like to make a final pitch to people and why you think, because I can glean that you do think that everybody should dance. So make a pitch. Why should everybody give it a shot? Or start doing it again? Because as you said, we've all done it, even if
I
we've
think
taken
the
a pause.
better answer is why not? Why not do it? Why not try it? Why not show up for that? Why not come be with friends and make a community and feel happy and um, push yourself ever so gently into a better breathing, more functioning, easeful form while we're here? Why not do that? And why not do it with us, where our focus is that you can?
That's beautiful. Before I let you go, give us places where we can follow you, take a class with you, look at your art, all the stuff.
Sure. So my public account is Bela, Bela underscore Raja, Raja underscore arts on Instagram. My Facebook account is private. I'm in the middle of building a business that I just started called the Heartistry Lab and Healing Room, where I do some massage therapy, and all of my arts are under that umbrella. So that'll be coming out soon. But right now, my Instagram is probably the only place to follow me. I've stepped away from a lot of the connections that come from the internet because it's really become more important to me the older I get to make my relationships one-on-one and in person with people and stay connected inside of a community. So you can find me at Joy in Motion for all ages. And if students are interested in taking dance classes through the college level, you can find me at St. Mary's College. And if you have a parent that's looking to go into a senior center, Moraga Royale is an incredible local business here that offers all sorts of activities, and dance and yoga is one of them.
And tell people how they can sign up at Joy in Motion. What's the website? How do they go about doing that?
It's joyinmotiondance.org. And you can visit the website to buy class cards if you're an adult or register your students. Though I might say that as soon as registration opens, classes fill up pretty quickly with wait lists. So you kind of have to be in the know and on top of registration. But we have lots of summer classes open, and that's a really great time to try out all the different styles of dance, because uh our sessions are a week long for the most part, and so you can try a different style of dance per week, and we love that because you're coming day after day, so your education is accumulating very quickly. And that also kind of gives you a shoe in so that you can have priority registration for fall and spring semesters.
And if you miss that and you hear this or you read this or listen to it later, the wait list does move along and you can get in on that as well. But that's great. So hopefully
Yeah,
people will take advantage.
we're kind of lucky in this area that so many people do so many activities. So oftentimes people will be in for one session, but they can't come for the next. And then if you're on the wait list, you actually do get moved in, or, things always happen, but we're constantly trying to make more space for more classes. And also Justin is really likes the size that it is right now. And so I don't see us growing beyond this. So come join us and get in while you can.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.